Hey, what is going on, y'all? In today's video, I'm gonna be installing the Real Truck BedRug XLT bed mat. And the reason why I bought the bed mat is because I'm gonna be carrying my golf clubs back here quite a bit, my push cart, because I like to walk when I'm playing golf, and other things, and I don't want it sliding around the bed and all that other kind of stuff. One of the things that I like about the BedRug mat is it's custom made to the truck, including the flex tailgate. There's a cutout for the flex tailgate that covers right here, and you'll see that here in a little bit. And then there's also a cover for the gap as well. It is made of ultra tough polypropylene fiber construction, slip and skid resistant to resist cargo shifting, levels the bed floor so it fills the gap, the ridges in here in your floor, to make everything nice and level. And then it's waterproof, chemical and stain resistant, and it's a custom fit to each truck, as I mentioned. I can't wait to get this thing installed, go ahead and throw my clubs in the back of the truck and not have to worry about anything rolling around or anything like that, because it is golf season and it's time to go. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash the bed, because we've had a bunch of pollen. I've got other things in here. I'd pick up some mulch and all that other kind of stuff. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash the bed, and then I'll get into the installation of the mat. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get the bed washed and get it prepped for tomorrow. That way we have a nice clean surface to work with. Gonna make sure I get down here in the ridges, because that's where the Velcro adhesive is gonna go. That should be a good scrub right there. Get this rinsed off real good. Make sure there's no leftover soap residue or anything like that in the areas where the Velcro is gonna need to attach. And this will be ready to go for tomorrow. So now I'm gonna talk about some of the construction features that I talked about in the open. The first thing I want to point out is this is cut specifically for the multi-flex tailgate. You can see right there where the notch comes out. So you got to make sure you get the right part number depending on which tailgate you have. And obviously if it's a Ford or a Dodge or anything like that, just make sure you get the right part number. What I want to talk about first is the Velcro. It comes installed already, the hook and loop, whatever you want to call it, the Velcro, it comes installed already. You don't have to worry about that part. The part you do have to worry about is aligning it within your tailgate and in the bed of the truck to make sure that everything mounts up the right way. So I'm gonna be really meticulous when it comes to that, and that part's coming up here in a minute. The other part that I wanna talk about is the construction in terms of the ridges here. You can see the ridges are intended to fill the ridges of the bed to make sure that it's a nice and even surface and everything looks good and everything else. And like I said, this is gonna be for my golf clubs and my push cart mainly. But you know, when I get groceries and so on and so forth, that'll also be something good to have so stuff isn't sliding around. With all that said, we're gonna go ahead and get into the final installation, and I will be happy to finally get this put in. I purchased this back in January and just hadn't taken time in order to take and put it all together. So let's go ahead and go to the installation portion. The installation instructions actually don't come with the BedRug mat. You actually have to either go to the website or scan them off of this QR code. So I'm gonna go ahead and scan the QR code and then enter the model number of the product that I have, which is gonna be the XLT BedRug mat. Well, I'll tell you the installation instructions that come off of the website are not very user-friendly. I'll post a thumbnail of what it is they actually have on here. That is not helpful whatsoever. So we'll go ahead and get into it based off of some other research that I did. In terms of the installation. It's really straightforward, not a whole lot to it, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get in the bed here and use the adhesion promoter, and then attach the strips after that. Now the key is this adhesion promoter has to dry. So I'll make sure I take the time to do that to allow it to dry before I actually stick the Velcro on. So before I put down the adhesion promoter on the bed, I'm gonna make sure that I align the Velcro where the rib is that it's gonna go with. So that way everything matches up the right way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay the mat down, get that rib, it's right there. All right, now we can go ahead and cut this open. And we're gonna apply this promoter. I would advise to do this in an open air environment. This promoter is very strong, and I wanna run the full length of the bed to make sure that the Velcro adheres where it's supposed to. Mother frick. Now that I've let the adhesion promoter dry, I'm gonna go ahead and stick on this Velcro strip with the two-sided tape. And then obviously you'll do the same on the opposite side as well. This is very sticky, as you would expect. And I want to get this aligned on the center of the rib. Actually, I'm going to stick it to the Velcro on the underneath side of the mat to make sure it gets where it needs to go. That makes the most sense, right? All right, so gonna press down on that, make sure my full weight gets on it. And we'll do the same to the opposite side. I'm not going to test this to make sure it stays in place and all that other kind of stuff. When I get done, I will take and put some type of weighted material on here to make sure it has extra time to adhere. Soft as a baby's bottom. So this part gets a little bit tricky because, like I said, the installation instructions weren't the greatest, and I need to figure out how do I want this to be arranged? How do I want this to align? And so as you can see right there where the handle is for the multi-flex tailgate to lift it up so you can step into it, I don't want to cover that up. So common sense tells me that I need to have it set back a little bit, and then that way this ridge can be exactly where it needs to be. It doesn't bulk up or anything like that. I think I will confirm the installation instructions real quick to make sure that I'm doing it right. So I want to point something out real quick that is not apparent to me based on the YouTube videos that I watch, and part of the reason why I'm putting this one out. So you can get my installation experience based on the multi-flex tailgate. And so what I found is, in that clip that I just showed you, and then I went back and verified on the internet, Real Truck's website does not show you how to align this properly. So I'm gonna go with my gut instinct. I'm going to align it back here beneath this cutout, and then also ensure that I align it with the ribs right here, in between the ribs. And that's the biggest thing, is because the ribs are the raised surfaces. I wanna make sure that I get the Velcro on those surfaces. I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put the promoter on all the ribs to start with. And then I'll put the other half of the Velcro and the adhesive on the actual part right here that comes up over here. I think that makes the most sense to me to do. Sorry for the shadows, but I think that makes the most sense for me to do, is to just kind of mismatch how I go to put this together. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure I have enough of these strips for all the ribs, and then also for the portion I'm gonna be putting it on out here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11, so that's 22. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so I said 22 ribs. I do have extra Velcro in the garage that I could use, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna go with what's included with the kit now to start with and see how that goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay these out so I make sure I have my strategy on how I'm gonna go about this. Try to evenly distribute the strips. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This is probably taking way more time than it actually should, but that's okay. I want to make sure I get this right. That looks like it'll get it. I'm just going to leave it as is right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put these in the spots where I want them aligned to. And then I'll do these top portions after that. Good thing I bought that extra kit because I am not gonna have enough adhesive promoter on its own. I like to buy extra parts just in case. I'd much rather have extra and pay a couple dollars more than to worry about the installation going wrong because I don't have the right stuff on hand. I'm gonna go ahead and apply these bottom ones first, just in case I miss with my intended location, and then I'll take and peel back the top ones to make sure everything is aligned, to give myself the best shot to get this right. Again, I'm probably overthinking this, I get it. That's what I do. I overthink things, so. But it's helped me over the years, so I'm not complaining. Go ahead and let that dry. Like I said, this stuff smells bad. So you wanna make sure that you're doing this in a well-ventilated environment. I don't really have a choice but to do mine outside, which I'm not complaining about, but you know, just kinda is what it is. So the way I'm gonna go about this is I'm gonna lay this where I think I want it for the top, since the top won't adhere, and then lay the bottom down in place. So there's the top. Align where I want it. And then I'll take and push down the rest. There. Down nice and even, align the way I want it. So this is the additional kit that I was talking about that had additional promoters in it and also Velcro, because I figure I may need it, and in this particular case I did. I was one packet short as far as adhesive promoter, so glad I actually bought the pack. So now I'm gonna take the top row off and then stick that in place. And I'm gonna go just above the ribs. Originally I was gonna go on the ribs, but I'm gonna go just above the ribs now. I can still get to the little cubby that I was talking about. That way to flip the flex tailgate steps up. As you can see right here, I can still get in there. No particular issues there. Then gonna finish this off by placing the Velcro strips on the top part of the tailgate. And this will finish this installation off. Anything takes longer when you're filming it and you're actually trying to make sure that you're saying things the right way and capturing the things as you intend for people to see it. So I would guess to say, if I wasn't filming, this would take me probably 30 minutes, if that, if I'm being honest. Probably 30 minutes. I could be giving a little bit less time. But like I said, it's a fairly straightforward process, especially if you're, you know, mechanically inclined or you understand how things go together and stuff like that. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I can tell already I'm gonna be really happy with the BedRug and what it can do for me in terms of, like I said, golf clubs, the whole 9 yards. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up and do the initial install of my golf clubs and my push cart. So I'll be right back. Like butter. All right, guys, so it does it for this video. I appreciate y'all watching. And remember to always ride as if your life depends on it. Peace.